Hello my YouTubers, this is Pinkole Crochet coming to you with a pattern called the Dropped Ice Cream Cone. Before we start this pattern, I want to give a big thanks to Priscilla over at You Cute on Estes for the original pattern. I also want to give thanks to Hope Box for the purchase of the pattern, and I want to give thanks to Gwen's Homemade Gifts for rewriting the pattern. Now I will have all of the websites to these people down in my description below. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to get started with our dropped ice cream cone pattern. For this pattern, you're going to need a G hook, and I'll just move that in so you can see it a little better. You're going to need a G hook. You're going to need two 6mm eyes. You're going to need a yarn needle, a pair of scissors, some stuffing, and of course a piece of scrap yarn for your stitch marker. I'm going to set all of that aside. Now for the yarn, you can use whatever color you want. For my cone, I am going to be using this light beige color. I've had this for a very long time. I'm not exactly sure what brand of yarn this is. I believe it could be Big Twist. And I'm also using this very lovely pink, which is the umber from Red Heart. I think it's called Jazzy. So I am going to go ahead and get started with my cone. For my cone, we're going to make our slip knot. Okay, and I am going to chain 3. Now you can also use the magic ring. I really don't like the magic ring. This is why I chain 3. So and I'm going to join. And I'm going to put 3 single crochets into my ring. So that's 1, 2, and 3. And now I'm going to go ahead and put in my stitch marker. There we go. Okay, and now that I have my stitch marker in, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put 2 single crochet into each of my 3 stitches. So I have 1, 2, and 3, and I'm going to put 2 in each one, crocheting over my tail as I go. So 1 and 2. Uh-oh. If I can get it in there. Okay, and that's 3 and 4. And then gonna go with our very last one, which is going to be 5 and 6. There we go. And then I'm going to pull in my stitch marker. Uh-oh. There we go. And now we're going to do a round of 1 single crochet all the way around. Remember, you should have 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, This is 5. And then our very last one, which is 6. And then I'm going to go ahead and pull in my stitch marker here. There we go. Now, what I like to do is I like to just push this inside out, just like that. There we go. Okay. Now, for round, we're going to be doing round 4, which is 1 single crochet in the first stitch and then 2 in the next with a repeat. So there will be 1 in this stitch and then 2 in the stitch after that. So 1 and 2. Uh-oh, I got my stitch marker caught in there. There we go. So now let me put 2 in this one. And then you want to repeat that all the way around. So this next one would be 1. And the one after that would be 2. So 2 stitches here. 1 and 2. And then this is 1 stitch here. And our very last stitch should end with 2. So 1 and 2. And then we don't want to forget to pull in our stitch marker. Go. Now, at this point you should have 9 stitches. So let's just count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And now we're going to do 2 rows of just single crochet. So this would be round 5. And we're going to keep going all the way around. There we go. And then we got one more round to do right after I pull my stitch marker through. And then this would be round 6. Okay. Go. And then our very last stitch, and then I want to make sure I pull my stitch marker through. But you know what, this stitch marker is getting on my nerves because all the strands. So I'm going to get me a new one where the strands haven't been destroyed. There, that's much better. And now that we've finished round 6, we're going to go ahead and do round 7. And round 7 is 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches. And then 2 single crochet in the stitch after that. And that's a repeat all the way to the end. So 1 stitch, 1 stitch, and then 2 stitches in the next one. And again, that's one stitch and one stitch. Uh-oh, caught my stitch marker. And then two stitch on the very last stitch. So one and two. And then we want to pull in our stitch marker. There we go. And now we're going to do round 8, which would be one single crochet in each stitch. And at the end of this, you should have 12 stitches. So that was 2. This is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and that's 9, 10, 11, and 12. And then I'm going to pull down, or pull in my stitch marker. Go. Now we're going to do round 9. And round 9 is one single crochet in the next 2 stitches, and then 2 single crochet in the stitch after that. So it should be 1 stitch, then 1 stitch, then 2 stitches of this one. And we're repeating that to the end. So 1, 1, then 2. And 1, 1, and 2. And then we don't forget to pull our stitch marker through. Okay, now we're doing rounds 10 and 11, which are simply one single crochet all the way around, and you should have 16 stitches. I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and our very last one is 16. Let's see if we can just move that out of the way. Okay, there we go, 16. And now we need to do one more round. We need to do round 11. I'm just going to push down my stitch marker, get it out of the way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Pull out some more yarn for me. Okay, so 16, pull our stitch marker through, and now we're going to do round 12. Round 12 is one single crochet in the next 3 stitches, and then 2 single crochet in the stitch after that, which is going to be a repeat. So 1, 2, 3, then 2 stitches in the next one, and again 1, 2, and 3, and then 2 stitches, 1 and 2, and 1, 2, and 3, and then 2 stitches in our very last stitch, and we don't forget to pull in our stitch marker. Okay, so we should have 20 stitches at the end of this, and we're just going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. If you do not have 20 stitches, then you've done something wrong and you need to go back and figure out what you did wrong. Now for the next 4 rounds, which is rounds 13 to 16, you're going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch. I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera, and then I'll meet you back at the end. Okay, so I have gone ahead and I have finished rounds 13 to 16 with the 1 single crochet in each stitch. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to do round 17, which is 1 single crochet in each of the next 4 stitches. So that's 2, 3, and 4. And then there's 2 single crochet in the stitch after that. And you want to repeat that all the way to the end. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then there's 2 stitches in this one, and then 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then 2, then 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1 and 2. Then you want to pull your stitch marker in, and now you want to do rounds 18 and 19, which are simply just 1 single crochet all the way around. There we go. So this would be round 18. And we're going to pull our stitch marker through, and now we're going to do our very last round, which is round 19. Okay, now that we're finished, we can pull our stitch marker, and then we want to just cut our yarn with a little tail for sewing later. And then to end it, we're going to just pull it through the loop, just like that. And there, this is our cone. This will be our ice cream cone. So we're just gonna flatten that, wrap it up. And we are going to sit that to the side. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and make the ice cream portion of our dropped ice cream cone. So I'm gonna use my pink color. I'm gonna start with my slip knot. Let me just fix this camera real quick. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and start with my slip knot. Go. And again, you can use the magic ring, but I like to chain. So 1, 2, and 3 is what I'm going to chain. And I'm going to join with the slip stitch. And then we're going to put 6 single crochets into the ring. So 1, 2, this is 3, and this is 4, 5, and our last one, which is 6. And then this is where I would put my stitch marker right here. Okay, and now I'm going to put for our next round, which is round 2, we're going to put 2 single crochets into each stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're starting here. Okay. So that's 1 and 2. There we go. And then we have 3 and 4. Then we have 5 and 6. And then 7 and 8. Then this is, okay, 9 and 10. And then 11 and 12. There we go. Oh, okay, I think okay, a minute. Caught my stitch marker on there. Okay, now we can pull in our stitch marker. And for round 3, of course you should have 12 at the end of that round. Now for round 3, we're going to do 1 single crochet in the first stitch and 2 single crochet in the next stitch. Okay, and that's a repeat all the way around. So 1 stitch, then 2 stitches all the way around. stitch marker. Okay, and then the next one, which would be round 4, which is going to be 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches, and then 2 single crochet in the next stitch. I forgot to mention, at the end of round 3, you should have 18. So at the end of round 4, you should have 24. So again, round 4 is 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, and then 2 single crochet in the stitch after that. So 1, 1, and 2. And 1, 1, and 2. And again, 1, 1, and 2. And then 1, 1, and 2. And then we're going to pull our stitch marker through. Okay. And then for round 5, it's going to be 3 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, and then 2 single crochet in the stitch after that. So 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches. 2, 3, and then 2 single crochet in the stitch after that. 1 and 2. So 1, 2, 3, and then 1 and 2, and 1, 2, 3, then 2 in this one, so 1 and 2, and 1, 2, 3, and then 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3, and then 1 and 2. Then we're going to pull our stitch marker through. And then for round 6, we're going to do 4 single crochets. So 1 single crochet in the next 4. So that's 1. This is 2, 3, and 4. And then 2. 1 and 2. And then it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then 1 and 2 in the same stitch. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then 1 and 2. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then 1 and 2. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then 1 and 2. And 1, 2, 3, and 4. And it's 1 and 2. And then we're going to pull our stitch marker through. Now, at the end of this round, you should have 36 stitches. Now, for rounds 7 to 16, it is 1 single crochet in each stitch. So, I am going to do those rounds off camera, and then I will meet you back once I have finished. Okay, so now that I have finished round 7 through 16, we're going to do round 17. Round 17 is in the front loops only. That's this loop right here. You're not going to go through both of them, just the front part. And now we're going to do 4 half double crochets in the front loop of the next stitch. Okay, and then you're going to skip the next stitch, and you're going to do 1 slip stitch in the front loops only of the next stitch, and then you're going to repeat that. So 4 half double crochets in the front loops of the next stitch, and then we skip the next one and do a slip stitch and a stitch after that. Again, 4 half double crochets in the front loops only. Then we skip the next stitch, and then there's a slip stitch. And we're going to repeat that all the way to the end. You're going to end with a slip stitch, and you can go ahead and pull this out, your stitch marker out, and then you want to slip stitch again in the next stitch through both of the stitches. Okay, there we go. Now, you don't need a tail on this one. You don't need any extra yarn, so you just want to clip it. And you want to go ahead and stick your yarn through the hoop to close it off. Now, we're going to take our yarn needle here, and I'm going to go ahead and weave in my end. I'm going to pull it through that, and I'm just going to weave it in right in here. There we go. It's good. And I'm just going to cut off the extra. Now, we're going to put in our eyes. And so here are eyes, right here. And our eyes are going to go in between round 5 and 6. So you want to count from the bottom. So we're going to start here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is 5 here. So our, our eye will go there. And then what you want to do is you want to look at the stitches. I'm going to get a little closer so you guys can see this. Okay, so you want to get closer, and then there are, you'll see 2, I guess this is a stitch. This is considered a stitch. It looks like 2 pieces of yarn here. So you want to count that, and that's 1 and 2, and on the third one is where you want to put the other eye. That's how far apart they should be. So there are your eyes. And then we're just gonna zoom out a little. Okay, so then all you want to do is flip them and make sure you have your safety backs, and you just want to put them on there. Go, okay. Now we're going to do the mouth, and I'm going to use some black yarn for the mouth. I'm just going to take a small piece of black yarn, and this yarn is a little bit too thick, so I'm going to pull it apart. And we're going to split it into 2 strands of yarn. And I'm just going to try to flatten it out a little bit. And then I'm going to use my yarn needle here. Okay, and then you want to embroider your mouth with this yarn that we just split. So right about here, right a row up under the row, right up under the eye, and put that in, and we're going to pull it up, and then all you have to do is just get it up under some yarn there, like that, and then you can use your hook to do the rest. Go in and pull it through, and then you want to do it one more time, and then you want to pull it closed. Now, nobody's going to see the inside of your ice cream, so you just want to cut it down. You don't need to put the yarn, you don't need to weave in any ends in the inside. Okay, so now I'm going to thread my yarn again. I mean, thread my needle, not my yarn. Okay, and now for the end of the mouth, we're going to go right here. We go 2 down and add an angle. And go in the middle, just like that. Then what you want to do is you want to go over to the other eye. You want to try to stay on the same row as you did before, and you want to come up right there, and you can see it's about the same row there. And you want to pull that, and then right into the same spot, the bottom, just like that. So, and then that looks perfect. And then you want to do the same thing you did in the beginning so that it doesn't come off. And then again, you can use your hook from here. So I'm going to pull that through if I can. There we go. And this is getting kind of small. Let me give it a, okay. There. And I want to pull that through. And there. And I don't need to cut that at all. There we go. Perfect. So now I'm going to say this is a very bright strawberry scoop. Now we're going to go back to our cone. And this is where our stuffing will come in. So let me just grab a bit of stuffing. So here's our stuffing. And you want to take it little by little. And you want to make sure, you can use a pencil if you need to. Make sure it's stuffed down into the tip of the cone. Keeps the cone stiff. Makes it stand upright. And then I do little by little just to make sure it goes in there right. And you want to stuff it just about to the top, but you want to leave a little bit. Okay, so right there is good. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and thread this yarn needle. There we go. And now what you want to do is you want to take and put your cone at an angle. So we see this little circle here. You want to put your cone where it just covers that. And then you have to hold it kind of like this. Anchor it down with your needle. So you just want to go stitch for stitch. Uh-oh. Just stitch for stitch while you're holding it. Just like that. Okay. So just like that. Now I'm just gonna slowly turn it, but still try to hold it in position. Okay. Now you want to do the same thing you did with the mouth. You're going to turn it inside out. Find a spot. Stick it through. And then put it through the loop. Through the loop. And then through the loop again. And then you want to pull it tight. And then you want to just to anchor it down, weave it in to one spot, and then clip. Okay, so you should have something that looks, let me just zoom out, it should look something like this. That's how it should look right now. Now we're going to take some more of this stuffing we have over here, and we're just going to put some of this right in here. And you can stuff this part of the ice cream, you know, until it's full. You just want to, if you want it firm, soft, whatever. Okay, I think that should be enough. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to sit that down. I'm going to move, I'll put this extra stuffing back. And now, ooh, there's stuffing everywhere. Stuffing particles. Just kind of try to clean that up just a little bit. Okay, so now that I have that, we're going to go ahead and make the bottom. I also wanted to show you, before we make the bottom, I almost forgot. I'm sorry, let me take this stuffing out. I almost forgot. Whatever color you want, whether it be brown, we're doing sprinkles. I almost forgot to show you the sprinkles. So I like chocolate, so I'm gonna do brown for chocolate sprinkles. Now you can do whatever color you want, white, pink, blue, green, whatever color you want, but I am going to do brown. I'm glad I remembered. I almost forgot. So I'm going to cut off a pretty long piece of brown because I'd rather have too much than not enough. And I'm going to just this in there. Okay, there we go. And then what I do is, actually I want to go in from the top, about right here. And you can do around 12 to 14 of the sprinkles. So I'm just going to go in and I'll just zoom in a bit so you can see better. Just like I did with the cone and the mouth. Get it in there. Go. Okay. There. Then we take our needle and so again, that's like 12 to 14 sprinkles. So what you're gonna do is you just take it and you just want to go the next stitch up. So there. And then let's say I want to go here, and I'm going to go off to the side, but the next row up. There we go. So up here, and I'm going to go to the side. Let's see, how about right here? And then I'm just kind of going to go up and around. There we go. Go here. And then I could put a sprinkle right there. Go up. Of course, you can put as many sprinkles as you want. You could put sprinkles around the whole ice cream if you wanted. Like you have taken and rolling the ice cream in sprinkles. I think this is enough for me. Let's go down. I feel like I should probably put a sprinkle here. And maybe up here. Okay. I think that's good enough for me. And then you just turn it inside out and do exactly the same thing you did in the beginning and with the mouth and the cone. So you make a loop. You're gonna put your yarn through the loop, and then you're gonna put it through the other loop, and then you just pull tight. Ouch. Poke myself. Okay. And then maybe straight through here. All right. And then I can just cut that off. Now I can put my stuffing back in there. I'm so glad I didn't forget to show you guys that. Okay. Then my ice cream would have just been plain strawberry with no sprinkles. And see, and now it looks better. Okay. And we're just gonna put that to the side. Now that we went ahead and stuffed and finished our almost our whole ice cream, we're gonna do the bottom. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with our slip stitch, and I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so you guys can get a better look at what I'm doing. Slip stitch. And now you can use the magic ring for this. I like to chain, so I'm gonna chain 3, maybe 4. It depends. 2, 3, I'll do 4 just to make sure I have enough room, because we're going to be putting 13 double crochets in this. So we're going to join with the slip stitch, and no stitch marker is going to be needed for this last part. We're going to chain 2, and then we're going to go ahead and put 13 double crochets into this ring or into your magic ring, and this chain 2 counts as a double crochet. So at the end you should have 14. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We'll have 14 because of our chain 2, but now we're going to slip stitch right there. We're going to slip stitch on our chain, and then we're going to chain 2 again. And then what we're going to do is going to make sure you pull this over because you want to get the top. Remember, you're supposed to have 14 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay. So now our next round, we're going to put 2 double crochets into each stitch. So starting right, let's see, this one's a little sideways. So right here though, there we go. Okay, and that's 1. 2. And then we have 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8, and that's 9 and 10, and then we have 11 and 12 and 13 and 14, 15 and 16, 17 and 18, 19 and 20, and then 21 and 22, 23, 24, 25 and 26. And then our 1 chain that counts as a double will be 27. Then we want to chain 2 again, and now we're going to do 1/2 double crochet, so half, and then 2/2 double crochets in the next stitch, and you're going to repeat all the way to the end. So 1, and then this is 2. So that's 1 and 2. Then 1 and 2. Then 1 and 2. And 1 and 2. Then 1 and 2. One and and 2. Then 1 and 2. and 1 and 2. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. And 1, and this is 2. And of course, because of our chain 2, we should have 40 stitches here. You're gonna slip stitch right there. Then you're gonna get you a good amount of yarn. You want a tail on this. You're gonna, because you're gonna sew on the bottom. Okay. So let's take our, oh no. Looks like my needle got stuck. All right, there we go. Okay, so now we're gonna take our yarn needle. We're gonna thread our yarn needle. And then we're gonna take our cone, which is here. We're gonna put our, see, just like that. And now if you lift this, you'll see you have this ridge, and that is where you're gonna sew. You're gonna go through both loops here, and then you're gonna go through one of the ridge, that back stitch that we left. And you're just gonna go here to here, you're gonna go stitch for stitch on each one. Okay, so now that I'm done, I want to just put this through here, pull it all the way through, and then what we're gonna do is you're just gonna do the same thing you were doing with the mouth. You're gonna find a spot to make a loop like that, put it through the loop and then through the next loop, and then you want to pull it tight, and then you want to take and you want to push this needle through and out, and then you can't even see it. Ta-da! And then we'll just go ahead and cut off, cut off the extra there. All right, and this, I'm gonna zoom out so you guys can see. We'll follow that out of the way. Our lovely ice cream cone. Ta-da!